2, 1.
Here we go!
All right, 5 o'clock on a Monday. Let's do this. Let's hit the books. Part of the Hammer Betting Network and now sponsored by FanDuel. Alongside the man, the myth, the legend himself, Joey Knish, producer extraordinaire Zach Phillips. I am merely Brad Powers. Before we recap what's been a very good weekend, if you've been following along with the bets, we'll talk about them. Before we get into that, before we get in your questions, comments, before we talk Michigan football, Texas football, Brian Kelly, Notre Dame, name it, everyone will cover it. Let me remind everybody that we are indeed now sponsored by FanDuel in case this is your first show, and happy Labor Day to you guys if you are following along. You can start off your college football season off with a win on FanDuel because right now new customers can kick off the season with $200 in bonus bets. Just place any $5 bet and you'll get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. You can use your bets on spreads, live bets, totals, so much more. Obviously, FanDuel, if you were following along yesterday, was one of the first sportsbooks to have all the lines up. In fact, they beat everybody to the punch on a lot of these games. So I love that with FanDuel being super aggressive there. In fact, I started to see some stuff hitting maybe even on Saturday. So here's what you do. You just visit FanDuel.com/hitthebooks to download America's #1 sportsbook. That's FanDuel.com/hitthebooks. You must be 21 plus and present in select states for Kansas in affiliation with the Kansas Star Casino or 18 plus and present in D.C. First online real money wager only, $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued at non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit fanduel.com/RG. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 1-800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NEW YORK or text HOPE New York in New York. Knish, 5-1 since Friday, last I checked. And you know, your buddy Nicolosi is the one loser. So when it came to game spreads, did pretty good.
No, that's the way we'd like it around here. And 3 out of 4 on the underdog money line round robin. Hat tip to me. I know I got a little aggressive there with UConn.
No more 3-touchdown underdogs.
Yeah, no, there were a couple other that made the cut. North Texas was one that was on. I see a few fans of the show too. That I saw the one I'm forgetting his Twitter handle, but got in there with the North Texas one, had a nice money line. So good weekend. That's more like it. That's what we want to see. A lot of takes, a lot of week 1 reactions ready to come. And let's keep it rolling. Find a little bit for week 2 here.
Yeah, let's lead off though with a quick recap of last night because we indeed had it as one of the best bets. USC, we gave it out a couple weeks ago. In fact, on the Trojans, market agreed with it. They not only get the cover, but they get the outright win. I thought it was, probably the best high-quality game played over the weekend. Now, I didn't agree with all the coaching decisions in the game. I don't know if it was A+ there, although I liked the defensive coordinator for USC. I think that's their scheme is far superior to what it was, even LSU's defense to a certain extent. So I thought that was a really good game, a really good, at least as a college football fan, regardless that we won our bet. I thought that was good for the standalone game to be the best game of the weekend. So kudos. I mean, I wonder if LSU, and I tweeted this and it got a lot of play. I wonder if they're starting to get a little tired of the Brian Kelly experience because this is what you get with them. We tried to warn you as Notre Dame fans. Oh, it's Notre Dame. You guys. Yeah. You just can't win. I mean, you guys are stuck in 1988. I mean, it's your program. It's not Brian Kelly. It's you guys. Well, year 3, another third straight season opening loss. So good luck. Any other major takeaways?
I mean, I think you and you're wearing the hat. I think USC's real deal. I loved what I saw from their defense. I loved what I saw from Miller Moss in terms of executing that offense. And there definitely was a buy-on team for me preseason. I'm all about it. And I will say, I think those were two of the best 10 teams in the country. I would put LSU out there. Nussmeier in the first. That Brian Kelly quote about their quarterback. Nussmeier in the first half
was unbelievable.
Like, he was he was like borderline flawless. So I thought if anything, they went away. They kind of went away from him a little too much in the second half and got a little conservative on the LSU side of things. I would let him keep slinging it as much as possible because he was absolutely locked in. He looks fantastic, and I agree both defenses with the step up. So to me, I don't know. I'm a buyer on both of those teams going forward, and thought that was a fantastic. I agree with you. Best, most well played game of the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, both have tough schedules coming up, so we'll see if they can survive them. But yeah, I mean, so far so good. And kudos for them for playing a big time game because we didn't see too much big time college football. A lot of tomato cans across the country. A couple other games. Obviously, you and I did a live show in the Miami, Florida game. Pretty much second half played out since we last talked like we thought it would. Just total domination. Miami clearly superior. Napier's done. Big shock. And in case you weren't watching the live show on Saturday, keep in mind we do it. We're going to do it at noon. And we have decided we are going to do it at noon. And obviously it kicks off this week, this little cross show promotion. Big game. I don't know if you've heard of it, Texas, Michigan. We'll get into it in a little bit. But we will be going halftime of that show this week. Now, at halftime, we had a couple announcements. Zach picked his new team. Just so happened to be the Fighting Irish in Notre Dame. That's the team he's going to root for. No pressure from me. In fact, I would have pressured him not to.
That's all they needed.
I told him, I said, if you want your heart ripped out of you, like the Maple Leafs, you picked the right team. But Notre Dame goes on the road, gets their biggest road win in quite some time. So that was a pretty solid performance there.
Are you hitting the panic button in Texas in College Station?
No, not. You are already?
I'm not defensively. No, offensively. I mean, Weigman was bad, like bad. And they lost a couple of linemen, and I know friend of the show
season or just banged up.
I don't banged up. I don't know how the extent of it. But I know our friend of the show, Bud Ilay, pointed out that game day thing they did on Weigman. I don't know.
Well, he did look like Bill Bud said. He looked fat. I thought he looked. I mean, I'll come out and say he looked dumb. So very low IQ.
I didn't. I would be worried about that if I'm Texas A&M. That performance. Again, defense I think will be fine. Plenty of talent there. Offenses, yikes! That was ugly. That was real ugly.
It will. I will say, I do not think he gets enough credit. I'm not saying this as a Notre Dame fan. I'm just telling you, Al Golden is really legit. The defensive backfield is really legit. They made Caleb Williams last year look average. I mean, a season opener a couple years ago, it's late third quarter in the Buckeyes with C.J. Stroud at quarterback. Not last year. C.J. Stroud at quarterback at home only had 7 points. So I'm telling you, Al Golden, he can dial it up. So, he's, although, Weigman, it wasn't all defense. He was missing wide open guys too. So we'll see on that one. I mean, what was the expectations? I mean, are you saying you're worried? Are you thinking 6-6 type of team?
I now granted they have a cupcake schedule coming up. So I mean that helps in terms of
the Florida game wouldn't scare me now. That's in a couple weeks. They're on the road. They got an FCS team. They got BG.
Yeah.
We'll talk BG though.
I would don't chalk up that BG game, baby.
Yeah. Any major? Oh, I got something that also got play on Twitter. I was obviously making fun of Vegas Dave, but I do think it's interesting. The favorite in the FBS versus FCS games, 61-0.
Yeah. The Blue Horseshoe probably he's on an island this weekend here. You probably don't have to work anymore now after that. If he just laid the chalk on all his games, I'm surprised he hasn't come out and said he's retiring after this weekend.
Yeah, and obviously it's expected to win. 60 of them, the FBS team was a favorite, but they're also covering. like 56 or 57% of the time. So even though they're expected to win big in a lot of cases, they're covering these margins. So again, macro takeaway, that gap is getting bigger. And look, it's not rocket science. It's just, that best FCS players are getting pulled from the transfer portal. They're going G5, they're going P5, and FCS got to supplant the roster. Where are they going? Well, they're going to a lot of D2 and stuff like that. So it's just rich get richer, poor get poor. Although at the top of the sport, I would say, outside of Georgia, which we haven't talked yet, looked unbelievable, to say the least. There's some holes on teams. Even the Buckeyes didn't. I mean, for a Buckeyes team that was +3 in turnovers, scored 2 defensive touchdowns, still couldn't cover. That wasn't the best look there. And it might still, outside of Georgia, it could be a little wide open as far as teams that could, not only make the playoff, but maybe win a couple games in the playoff.
No, for sure. I mean, as you said, I thought the issues we thought for Ohio State, quarterback and offensive line, kind of reared their head there against an Akron team that isn't exactly, at the top of the MAC. So, yeah, I think you've got one real elite team, and then it's a tier down, because I tell you what, the other team that I would have had in that top 3 tier, Oregon, woof, that was not a good performance versus Idaho, and an offensive line that might have some bigger issues.
Have you watched that game? That box score. I mean, I am stunned at that. I don't get stunned. I've been doing it 15 years. That box score says they should have won by 4 touchdowns, but it's not like your typical they were -4 in turnovers type of thing. It was just, I got to watch that game play by play, because I don't understand it. That's one of the more surprising, not only finals, but then diving in the box score that I've ever seen. I just don't get 24-14. In fact, it was 17-14.
I know. Well, yeah, because Joey K laid some second half on Oregon there after agreeing with you, seeing the first half, like, oh, they'll cut. And then all of a sudden, they just some bad 4th down variants. And, credit to Idaho. They had kind of a pretty good scheme cooked up in what they were limiting Gabriel to, in just terms of like.
They kept everything in front of him. He was, 41 out of 49?
Yeah. No explosives at all. So, yeah, that was a little bit of
Idaho might be live this week. You don't want to overreact to those results, but they play Wyoming this week.
Oh, so it was an ugly one from Wyoming.
We'll get into it, but I would say maybe one of the most surprising. Nobody watched it, although there was a battle in the market between competing services. Arizona State just absolutely annihilated Wyoming. I mean, like we're talking yards per play difference, like +5. I mean, that's like against a bottom barrel FCS type of team. So
some panic in San Marcos.
Market doesn't say so. Market loves them this week. I don't. I bet UTSA.
Yeah, no, I would say, but that was a little bit of a questionable performance there from our boys in Texas State.
I bet Lamar in the game though. I thought it was a little expensive.
I will say the big one we got wrong on Saturday, and the program we were texting about it. UCLA is like,
oh my God.
Woof. Also, they couldn't have just lost outright for the Hawaii win total. Like we could have just.
I know. And the UCLA win total. Although we're not gonna have to sweat that one.
No. No. I mean, just a couple more quick hit. UNLV, baby.
That was good.
I gotta tip my cap because if I had to pick which team of the Mountain West looked best over the weekend, it would be in Nevada, Las Vegas. I thought they had the most complete performance.
Market said I was an idiot. 2 different guys told me no. I wanted to. We gave it out on the show, so I'm glad we got the 3.5 on the show. But I wanted to give it out to, and they said nope, you're wrong side. And I mean, I wasn't watching it because there was a bunch of stuff going on. The first score I saw was 24-0. Like late third quarter. I'm like, what the fuck? I was like, I knew it. I went to their spring game. I'm like, this is a legit team. And Houston I watched Houston spring game too, and they don't have nothing. So, and the market hates them this week against Oklahoma. So yeah, UNLV did look good. That's one where I regret not betting them to make the playoff. I bet them to win the Mountain West, but I thought their schedule might be too tough. We'll see. They play nobody this week, but Kansas next week. They still have Syracuse. I think they still have like Oregon State, but those are games not unwinnable if they're going to play like that.
Right.
So, I mean, they win a couple of them, win the Mountain West, beat like a Boise State. Then they might be the team to make the playoff. That'd be unbelievable. Let's get to the star of the show. that would be you guys, the chat. Love the chat. Let's get to it. Charles, always first in the chat. I'm scrolling down. Yeah, he's there. My bad. Great to look at the new board. What do you think about our guy Sean Lewis plus 4.5 this weekend? My numbers actually lean opposite. That wasn't a great look for them. What was that? Like halftime? That was ridiculous.
It was, honestly, like it was just a chaotic second half there against an A&M Commerce team that was that was D2 a few seasons ago. I didn't love that. Now, granted, the market is taking a little early money on the Fighting Sean Lewis's, and I know we're both Sean Lewis guys. However, that was an ugly overall. I mean, you wouldn't see it from the final.
They were down 6. I thought that was something. They were down 6-3 at halftime. So
yeah,
that's one where East Coast people wake up. Oh, look at that. 45-14 plays the expectation. No, it wasn't good. And I think they had a couple of like non-offensive touchdowns. So
that is actually, I think, if I'm looking, that is one of the, I think it's the only 4.5 on the board at the moment. So if you
want to go head to head, I'll lay the 4.5.
No. I'm
all right.
I'm all set on them.
Let's see what the market does, because I think that's one where people are going to take the underdog. No, not that Oregon State. I mean, I'm way down on Oregon State this year. So I mean, we bet over the San Diego State win total, and we're down on Oregon State. Bet against Oregon State last week, but my numbers like Oregon State in that game. So Charles, that's not the one. Mason Bryant's in there. Happy Labor Day, fellas. Yep, right back at you. Had to get in early again as Michigan at 7 a bye for you guys. Feeling on the Hogs plus 7. Notice it's taken quite a bit of money since it opened. Thanks, you guys are the best. Thank you, Mason. Let's talk Michigan. You want to talk a misleading final, 30-10. You're like, that pretty much played to expectation. It did not. That was not good, bud. They got SC in a couple weeks. They got Texas this week. I mean, I'm pretty comfortable with under 9.5 wins. I'll say that.
I might have to, pay off somebody to delete that from the Zach's about to get a delivery, a pro line delivery for, getting that off the record. Cause, oh man, that was, I don't want to give Bud too much sauce here, but we talked to him a little bit about it offline. I don't think Davis Warren won the QB competition. I thought it looks like Alex Orji just lost it, and they basically said, we can't play this guy. And in limited time, it kind of seemed like that was the case, where they just kind of had to go with, you know what, they're going to have, Warren is going to be very McNamara-ish, but the offensive line's got to be better. If this team's going to win 8 or 9 games, the offensive line has to be better, because that's the only way it's going to. Defense is still very good. Special teams should be good. But man, I did not like what I see on all. I think wide receivers had like 4 catches for 20 yards.
Oh my God.
All together. They don't have anybody on the outside with any type of juice. It's going to be tough. With that said, I got to tell you, if I see 7 and a hook,
I think it's already popping, isn't it?
Is it?
Yeah. Not there.
But
go far away places. I think there's one on there, unless I'm looking at an old number. I don't have my Dom best up.
I mean, I'll say, listen, will I pop it at 7.5? Sure. Is it going to be like a play of this or something? Do I love my game of the year tickets at 4? No, I don't. Not. Because I mean, the flip side of it is Texas was dominant and looks great, and and maybe some of that is I don't think we're gonna have to sweat that Colorado State win total either, because they look fucking awful in every facet of the game. But I mean, it's a Texas offense that I think probably just has too much juice for what Michigan's putting on the field. So I mean, you don't want to go crazy overreacting to week 1, but in this new era of college football, you kind of almost sometimes have to at some point. So yeah, that was disappointing as it gets for Michigan on one side of the ball.
This other question on Arkansas Oklahoma State game. Are you part of the Arkansas money that we've seen today?
1, I'm not. 2, I was really impressed with. And this is a guy that took a couple of South Dakota State positions. That was Oklahoma State was very impressive to me. And I will take the L because it started last year and it's going to keep on rolling. I kind of disagree with that move, and I would be a little prone to. I'm not maybe not at 7.5, but if it dips any lower, I
Well,
think
it's 7 in most places.
yeah.
That's a buy for me, not a big buy. There was enough negativity towards Oklahoma State in today's market that I'm going to be greedy and see if I can get a 6.5. But if we're doing the Friday show and it's 7,
Yep.
might make the card because I can't get that low. I'm just not. And
I
keep in
agree
mind, I
with
know
you.
Arkansas look good. Arkansas Pine Bluff is a bottom 10 FCS team.
They're not.
I mean,
even like a
Oklahoma
real
State
team.
played the best FCS team.
Yes, and whipped
that
them.
would be favored by 40 points over Arkansas Pine Bluff. So keep that in mind when you're comparing stats, because some people just grab the stat and they just pull it. And now I will say Oklahoma State, I did find it surprising they were like a negative 0.5 yards per play. So maybe that's why some of it, but no, I think the line should be 10. RW Fan 23, 6-4 in the season so far, boys, for a crisp 12.3% ROI, better than the S&P 500. Joey Props 0-2, man. What's up with that?
Yeah, well, I tell you, it's been ugly. The Nicolosi was, what was he, 170 yards short? So yeah, the Joey Prop time. We got to get it rolling here because finally we get into the sides and the sides are rolling. So yeah, Joey, hand up there. We got to get it going.
We're all right though. Syracuse 15.5. It does help that maybe we'll get on the bad side of some of this. Yeah, that was one where they won by 16. That all important half point on the 16. So
the key number
that
was 16.
I'm not wild about what I saw there from Syracuse.
I agree with you. I think there was a ref call there. They probably should have covered all the numbers, but regardless. I agree with you. Like Ohio ran the ball really effectively.
They had a guy go for over 200 yards.
Yeah.
We'll find out more. Like I'm not really either team. I'm not ready to pound my fist. But the good thing about both of those teams, Ohio and Syracuse, they got good data points coming up this week. Syracuse hosts Georgia Tech. Early money's on Georgia Tech. I think Georgia Tech 3 sounds about right. Ohio's got an interesting home game against South Alabama. So. Well, I'll know a lot more about those two teams. And speaking generally, I tweeted this out earlier today. I mean, look, we talk A&M, Notre Dame, LSU, USC, the big games, but the reality was there wasn't a lot of good data points last week. I mean, only 14 games are lined at 10 or less. This week, 25 out of 49. So half the games are lined what I call competitive, where I can get an idea on a power rating. So that's good for this week. Yep, bounce back season, RW. We hope so. We're off to a decent start. Anthony, Michigan quarterback room offense making me miss Cade McNamara. I feel sick even saying that.
Honestly, I asked a few people about that. I actually gun to my head, I would take Warren over Cade. I don't really think Warren was the biggest issue on Saturday.
Wow.
Offensive line was underwhelming, and the receiver position was. They got a problem at receiver. They just do. Like they don't have an outside receiver who's FBS level. So, yeah.
Really?
I mean, they've got a bunch of like short, those short yards after catch guys. I'm talking about like a true X.
I got to watch the film then. You got me. If you're like this negative on it, then I got to watch the film. And
I'm negative on the receiver. Then again, Colston Loveland, I think he had like 88 of the, 125 yards for Warren. So,
they try to mix some things up, throw stuff out of the backfield. It's just a game I haven't watched yet. So
yeah,
they mix it up at all or no?
I mean, it was very conservative. I'll put it.
Why didn't they go in the portal for a quarterback?
So here's what I heard: is that they went before how things work nowadays. Like they went to a guy. I don't know the specific details, but they went to a guy and told them they were interested in him. They wanted the mission. They wouldn't give him the job per se. So they wanted it to be a quarterback competition, thinking that Orgy would be a little bit more than it was. So I think they did, but they wouldn't just give anybody the job. And so therefore, whoever that person they reached out to said, no, I'm not coming for a competition. And I think they thought Orgy would really be in the mix, but it doesn't look that.
What's the freshman looking like? Has he got a chance to play maybe later this year?
So I think part of the deal with getting him in was his family wanted to redshirt year one because he was he's only weighed like 170 pounds. So they wanted to put weight on him. And honestly, I know we've joked around all season. I think they really thought Tuttle would be back like in the mix. And to me, gun to my head, I think he'd be your starter right now if he wasn't hurt. But he re-injured in spring. He got re-injured in fall. I would be surprised. I think he's out for the year. Like they haven't said it, but
oh wow, okay.
Also,
no, that makes sense.
They've got issue at the right tackle. They started a redshirt freshman. The guy they really wanted to start. Word on the street is Gentry was like a forced high top 100 kid is hurt as well. So they got some issues.
We'll talk more about that probably Friday. As they welcome the Texas Longhorns. Steven in the chat. I think Oregon crushes Boise State. Thoughts on the Ducks -18? I certainly lean that way. I'm getting greedy, and plus it's a new market, new year. Everybody's different. I've seen some anti-Oregon, some love for Boise. Boise, the final doesn't look great for the defense, but man, you deep dive into that box score. That was another one where they're like plus 4.4 yards per play.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting. It's a bet at 18 for me. It's a big bet at 17. So I'm just waiting. Some of this is just market timing. And I think that we weren't fortunate in a lot of the instances last year, but Northwestern, UNLV, best bets for us. We're fortunate. This is always a picture in time that this show.
Yeah.
It's not like I can just make up the numbers. I mean, we're confided to whatever the lines are at the time that we're doing the show.
FAU as well was the right time. It's like part of that is, as you're nailing it, where like, sometimes just when we're on the air, we're not going to have the number that you would say is playable. So,
and what helped us last week is Northwestern -2.5. Liked it when it was 3.5. Don't like it. UNLV +3.5. Like it when it was 2.5. Don't like it. That's all this is. But at least we were fortunate in that regard to get them out on the show. This talk tonight. I'm jumping ahead just a little bit. David in the chat, BC FSU total thoughts. Have you done anything tonight? Side or total?
I mean, the only thing is when we were on not last the Saturday show from I wish I would remember his handle to give him a shout out. Said should we bet BC because Florida State was losing on the Saturday live show from 2 weeks ago, and bet some BC while we were on the air. So I got 20 or 20.5 in chamber. That's all I got. And so I obviously wouldn't bet it now. I know let me see what I know Franchise was bullish on the Castellanos props, but he hasn't exactly gotten off to the hottest start this year. So let me see what Castellanos is at. 160.
On player props, didn't he start like 8-0 though on his sides, his column?
I think so. But
like I'm talking like Thursday, Friday, week 0, Thursday.
Yeah, but I'm trying,
we're
trying to feed the people some player props here, so I got to troll them for. Also, a little bit questionable of who's taking, who's going to be the main BC back, Robichaux or the other guy they got. So I don't know. I would say Castellanos passing yards at 160 is okay, not great.
Okay. There's a little bit unknown. I think I'd be more in. I'm just saying I lean Florida State tonight. I'll say that at the current number. Not a big bet because I'm worried about still the coming off of Ireland, and also historically game 1 versus game 2 goes to the team playing game 1. Although that didn't always work out this year, but historically, last 20 years, team playing their first game better to have film on the team playing their second. So just a lean tonight. We'll see. Interesting, decent data point as far as I'm concerned. I'm anxious to see what O'Brien's going to do with Castellanos. You like the over? A little bet there, a little pizza money.
I didn't do anything with the total in that one.
No. I meant Castellanos. Or did you went under?
On the passing yards. I think 160 is all right. Little pizza bet there on the 160.
Yeah, I didn't do anything on the total. All right, I skipped ahead a little bit there. John in the chat, who is a member, and also not only if you want to become a member, you get priority as far as the chat questions, but also make sure you're hitting that like and subscribe button for those of you that are watching on this Labor Day. Central Michigan and FIU -6 or better. Yeah, I bet Central Michigan in this game. I was hoping it would hold off a little bit more, but I took a little bit of money today. But don't bet 6. There's some better numbers out there. I've seen even some low as 4.5, but I like the Central Michigan side. What say you?
Yeah, you know what? I thought I mean, Central Michigan obviously had a dominant week 1 effort. I did think FAU played pretty
Better than the market. That line was
Yeah.
unbelievable on Saturday. Who gave
Yeah.
that out? They went with Indiana.
You want to go 5.5? Best bet there?
You want to? You liking it enough?
I mean, I thought I just honestly I hadn't looked at that game in the last couple hours. I didn't know it
We'll
got.
come back to it. We'll come back to it.
All right.
Yeah. That's now we're in record protection. No, I'm kidding, joking. Me too. No, I'm joking. Total joke. We'll come back to that one. Charles in the chat. What are some teams that are on the panic button watch list besides Mr. Can't Open a Water Bottles team? I mean, obviously, he's
They're
talking
not
about
on. They're on the dead list. That's not the panic button. Yeah, that's already. You're already. They pulled the cord, Chuck. There's no panic left. They're not in the comb anymore. They're in the grave.
I think the other obvious one is the team that you're super negative on this summer. You know what I'm talking about, don't you?
Is it the hashtag Dabo?
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah,
I think the time to panic there.
I would agree with you, and because they don't have. That's the other thing. When like you didn't bring in any other. If you think Klubnik. And a lot of people now are coming around to like he's not the guy. You haven't brought in anybody. There is nobody else. Like if you think Klubnik sucks, you're stuck with them for the entire year. So
the Vizina kid's okay, but I
will say, I don't want to overreact to like one. And I know we were down on this team compared to Colorado. I mean that Colorado State performance was like. What was it was 6. What was the Zach? I don't know if you have the folder up. The win total we gave out was at
6.5 under.
Yeah, that's what I thought. At 6.5. No fucking way. That team is not winning 7 games. And I know they got in Northern, but like, I mean, they lost all their good players off last. The whole thing about in past college football where it was like you get a good coach in, he comes to a program that's kind of down. Maybe, you get them year 2, year 3, you're waiting for if you're a G5 program or an FCS program now, if you don't have the money, all your good players, there is no bump. There's no year 2 or year 3 bump because all your good players are walking out the door. Like all that from Jay Norvell being like, oh, he's going to get that great bump. They lost all their good players except for like one. So I don't know. I thought I'm not saying a panic time. I don't know if the people care enough and that's it, but they paid him a lot of money. He took he tried that. They wanted to turn that program around. That looked like
I think he's a clown. I'm just being honest. There's a bunch of stuff. It just isn't. They're making fun of him for protecting the signs and stuff when he's down 50 points. On Saturday, I don't know if you saw it was going viral.
Yeah.
But there's been a bunch of other stuff. I thought the Nicolosi stuff, getting paid the $600,000. I mean, I think that was suspect. His stuff with Dion last year, suspect. I think he's a clown. I'm talking Jay Norvell, the Colorado State coach. So I'm glad that we have under 6.5 minus 110. Zach just said that. We got breaking news. Do you know this? We got another winner. Zach pulled because here's the thing, right? And we're not doing this just to inflate records. We're doing so many shows this summer, and you and I can talk. Oh yeah, we see that. Yeah, that's a best bet. That's a best bet. We did have Western Michigan also on Friday, plus 24.5. So it was from a Friday show, not like from March. I think it was just last Friday we did a Western Michigan plus 24.5.
August 26th, guys.
August 26th. See, I told you it was that Friday show. It was that show. All right, good.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a Monday, right? That was all right.
No, I think it was the Friday, but I know why I missed it. That was the one where we gave out FAU.
Like
yeah, and I
so
was
we got another
scrambling
winner.
to get FAU. Yeah. So I had another one. Yep.
Another winner. Boom. That's big time. So since you 5-1, like that since Friday.
That's how
what were you saying?
We might want to play that. I think some listeners here are.
All right, Central Michigan's the best bet at 5.5.
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah. Let's fire it off because
what is going on?
I think some moles in the people we're taking
go,
that.
Go, just go.
Yeah,
that all important.
I like
key
that
number of 5.5.
Yeah. Did you think? I didn't think that had a.
An open 7 got bet. That's why there's some funky movements in the market. Open 7 got bet down to 4. I bet I laid a 4. I mean, I may get 7 where it opened. Boom! Look at that. The power.
Yeah, I
There's
agree.
Some people watching. Are you VPN'd and stuff? I'm kidding. Who is watching this? That's funny. I know who's watching. I know who's watching it. The people in the comments stuff, but I'm talking about, the people that aren't in the comments that are watching this. Funny that started moving. All right. Lesson learned there. That's a lesson I just took from today's show. We can't be meandering. We got to go. Okay. Wow. Zach in the chat. No. Let's talk Tennessee.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Tennessee.
Oh, baby. That was.
Yeah, Nico. If you haven't watched the tape, people are starting to get around to it. Nico was unbelievable. I know they played a tomato can, but we'll get a better look at Nico against NC State. NC State was not a good look at all. Actually entered the fourth quarter down 21-17 to Western Carolina. So,
yeah,
a ton of money coming in on Tennessee. I agree with it. I make it 9. Is it, best bet at 7.5? No, but that's the one that I'm regretting I missed on Sunday morning. It was 6.5 in some spots, and I don't know why I didn't bet it.
Me too. Man. Yeah. I'm with you there. It was one that was on like, hey, I should grab some, maybe it'll, and never pulled the trigger. And then now it's crossed pretty much
everywhere. That's a regret there.
Yep. The old bet regret. But I agree. I thought Tennessee looked fantastic. And you don't want to overreact to 1 week, but it was one that I think deserves some movement there in terms of that NC State performance is hard to get the taste out of the mouth there. Because they're going to need to be a lot better to stay within a touchdown of a Tennessee team.
Oh, defensively, yeah. And I'm seeing the overs taking a little bit of money. It makes sense there. Oof. Yeah, they're going to have problems keeping up there. John in the chat, who is a member. Georgia Southern Nevada over 55. I played the side in this game. I played a little Nevada. I haven't played the total.
It's funny because it's like a dead nuts over team versus a dead nuts under team.
How about Nevada so far this season, though? I mean, SMU to the limit and then go and beat Troy on the road outright?
I know.
Holy hell. We got 2 data points on them, and they're both really good.
Yeah. That the defense. I was watching that SMU game. It's like, man, this defense is real deal.
They're getting after it.
I don't have a real opinion on the total though. I think that's.
Yeah, I don't either. I'm not. You got to give me. There's 5 or 6 totals that I had an idea of looking at tempo and teams that have changed, but I'm not there yet with blindly betting all my numbers on totals yet. I need another data point or 2. I'm not as good as sides. I'm just telling the people that. So 570 viewers, but we need to we love that 570 viewers. I mean, we're breaking not only show listenership, but across all the hammer. I mean, we just destroy the competition
breaking week after week.
This is the show, not the NFL show, which starts this week. This show right here.
Flagship, baby.
Yeah. Get the likes up though. At least get over 200 likes. I mean, at least get half of you can hit like if you're watching. Keep it up though. It helps when you win. Let's keep winning though too. Onion Man, thoughts on fading USC after the huge primetime win? If Petrus is actually out, I'm interested in plus 28.5. So they had a couple quarterbacks play, right?
They did. Well, Petrus got hurt.
Oh, okay, he got hurt. Now the guy came in and played better. The kid from Utah, right?
Yeah. Where it's like, well, I still am like, I cannot believe a team was starting Petrus in 2024. I got to tell you, so that was Joey K at Circa there on the 24. And
that's a good bet, man.
That was probably the favorite one that we got in. How
about they open in all them states? Like everybody's being aggressive. FanDuel's obviously was super. I woke up Sunday morning. Early. I'm talking like I'm up 5-6 a.m. And then the first time I'm looking, like all these lines are up. I'm like, holy cow, I can't go to bed on Saturday nights.
I know. I mean, it's a Utah State team that was like down to Robert Morris, who's miserable at halftime. Like, I think I need this. I think I need some more. Like, I
need more too.
28.5 is not. It's not enough for me because
SC's gonna have if SC's got a legitimate defense. It'll be tough.
Yeah, I agree.
Even if they're flat, defense like. defense carries more than offense. It's not like, so I was impressed with that defensive coaching staff last night. So yeah, I agree. No bet there on the dog. John, San Jose State +7 if it gets there. It's interesting. Market was very anti-San Jose State. They sucked for 3 quarters. They had a good fourth quarter. Niumatalolo knows how to defend the option. Air Force was terrible against Merrimack. Merrimack's not a good FCS team.
I know.
So where are we at? I think I need 7. I don't know. I'll say this. It's a good data point. I'm going to learn a lot about what these teams are because I got a feeling that maybe neither's any good or somebody finally takes a step forward. I think both could be really bad, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and you as you say, Niumatalolo, like it's knowing how to defend this system and that.
So you like it at 7?
Would be in.
We got 7 or no?
I don't see any.
Yeah.
I feel like we wouldn't be the only. So that's another one that where is the timing going to line up where we're on air? That's one that probably if the 7s flash, I think they'll get bought pretty quickly.
Good point. Phils suck 565. Am I missing something, or does Toledo -19.5 look way too easy against UMass team and lost by 2 touchdowns at home against a much worse opponent? Where are you at on that one? Market, there was an early 16 that got bet up, but I'm not there on the power rating.
No, I'm
at 21. I like UMass.
Yeah, I'm not totally there. Obviously, that was a very disappointing performance, especially for some people in the tout wars there from UMass. I mean that was pretty gross. I'm not there either on this because it's a Toledo team that I think we were both a little down on to going into this season. Didn't have I know they won 49-10. Not the most impressive performance if you look at the box in that one. So yeah, I'm not there on that one.
Rick Smith in the chat. Brad, how hard do you degen on the FCS games? Do you buy Flow Sports so you can watch Colonial games? Have you ever bought a Davidson pay-per-view? I do not degen that hard. So here's what I do with FCS. I have a really good set of power ratings. I go through every box score of every game. And I also think it's important to look at the market. What is the market doing? Just look at it opening and closing lines from the week prior. And it's a market. Why is that important? Because it's a market that the public's not betting. So anything that moves, it's all people like myself. So that's all I do. Just power ratings, just basic going through box scores.
I'll watch ESPN Plus has a ton of FCS games, so I'll watch them on there. Funny story, one of my guys who I bet with got a flow. He did like the Flow Sports free trial to watch one of the games when he had a big position on. Forgot that he did the free trial and then got charged for a full year of Flow Sports. So he had like Flow Sports for a year. It's like the completely ridiculously overpriced for the garbage they have. It's like all Northeastern sports. So I wouldn't recommend. I will say ESPN Plus though is tremendous value.
Yeah, ESPN Plus is worth it. So
yeah.
I would say get that at least, guys. Especially later in the season. I think the Missouri Valley, a lot of those games, and those are the games that I'll watch when like North Dakota State's playing South Dakota State and some of them other ones. I'll watch a little bit of them, but no, just basic power ratings. I run so good in the FC, it's ridiculous. A lot of it's just CLV just matters so much. I win everything with CLV and the FCS. I just wish there was a better balance between my portfolios. It's unbelievable. Although I give you a big time loser. FCS was really good, but I gave you a big time loser. I told you to bet. I said it was soft because I didn't know what the hell West Georgia had because they're coming from D2. They beat Sanford outright. Can you believe that? With a first year coach.
I know. First year, and I didn't because we're trying to make a number on that one with some of the West.
Did you bet it? I ended up betting a little bit on. Okay. So
I never did because you were at 20, and I know it got it did drift out. Like it got from 16 to 21, and then they win outright. I was like, what is happening? So
yeah, so that was I'm not all about talking about winners. That was probably my most embarrassing bet of the weekend was I bet Sanford and they lost outright as a big favorite. I got to keep an eye on West Georgia. They were good at D2, but they lost like most of their team. They got a first year coach. Sanford's like halfway decent FCS. That was Stunning result. Maybe it's the most stunning result of the weekend.
Yep.
Keep it rolling here. Evan in the chat. Georgia Tech overvalued at -3 this week, or do we think that cover train keeps rolling against a Cuse team we're fading this year? No, I think 3 is a solid number. If you bet this game, I see the over took a lot of money.
No, yeah, I agree with the move on the over. I couldn't get, man,
not a 3.5.
No. You know, because it's, again, there were some holes with Syracuse, but I think you're really paying a premium now in Georgia Tech, because this is one that I think our friends at FanDuel actually opened Syracuse a small fave in this game.
When do we gotta get with FanDuel? I gotta know what time do they open those? Because I saw some of them open.
Yeah, there was, because and then it's like a slow trickle too. It's like some games pop up.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Do you have an idea what time it is, or anybody in the chat right now? What time Eastern time is at? So how early do I have to freaking be waking up here on the West Coast and making phone calls back east? Because we love FanDuel. Keep put them all up, not just 20 games early. Put them all up. Sox fan says 3 a.m. Eastern Sunday. Most of the games are up. They must. I'm gonna have to just stay up late then. 4 a.m. Rick says. So yeah, they were soft numbers is what I'm getting at. Like, I would like a piece of some of that moving forward. So all right, we just gotta stay up later. I went to bed. You were kind of tired on the show. I felt bad, but I was too. Like, opening weekend's different. It's just all summer leading up to it. Thursday, you got a bunch of games. Friday, you had some games. Saturday, like, I feel better now, week 2, because it's a different card, different set of lines. Like, I'm more energized now than when I was last week. And speaking of that, I got to look. I lost my. I'm skipping ahead, Zach, so I apologize. Mickey Hill in the chat. Let's get this one. Is Miami that good or Florida that bad? A little bit of both, I think.
Yeah, no, I agree. A little bit of both there. I think. All right, you want to play? Here, we do futures, Joey.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, it's funny. It's too many of Florida coaches have sealed this fate. Conference futures. Joey K plays today.
Okay. You bet some.
Yeah, bet some today. And I want you to say, you give me the BP yes or no, a little impromptu game here.
Right.
Miami.
I already got in pocket.
ACC plus 250.
Yes, that's the best one you could bet.
Yeah, I agree with you strongly. Yep, even
2-1. Anything with a plus sign next to it. Yeah, I'm serious.
Next one, I think you're going to be in on too, because this was a BP team that I didn't totally believe in. American Athletic. Baby, got my patch on. East Carolina.
Yeah. Are you part of that steam today?
Yeah. I like that.
I like that one too.
Yeah, because I tell you what,
folks, 20-1 is super good. If you want a long shot, bet a little to win a lot. East Carolina 20-1. I love that price.
Yeah, me too. I like that. I like that quite a bit.
That was sneaky. They had 6 turnovers and still scored 40 points.
Yep. They looked.
I watched a little bit of somebody was at their spring game and they had like I don't know. I'm so old, camcorder. Obviously, it's their phone. But I watched a little bit of it. I'm like, this fucking
pulling a Connor Stallion.
Good. I love East Carolina. Bet them over the total. Bet them to win the conference. Bet them this week against Old Dominion. Although Old Dominion looked good. I got to tell you, Zach, put up the total. East Carolina, Old Dominion. I know we're taking a little bit of a bad number here. This is game of the year material for me. I think this you won't hear me say lines off a touchdown or 10 points, but I gave out the total this morning. It's already moved 3 points. I shop around because I don't want you guys to take the worst of it. I like the over in this game. So we're not going to chart it, but if you're watching it live, like the over. Both teams, you're going to see that they ran 74 and 72 plays, which is above average. Neither one had the ball for even 25 minutes. They're running both teams are running top 5 tempo. And you had a total at 49 this morning, 52. I love over there. But make sure we log all our bets at FanDuel here. I want you to make sure you get the best number. So make sure you shop around. Over 52 is still good. Just
I like it.
Y'all know.
I like it. I'm in on it as we speak.
That one was just very sneaky. I don't think the market is fully understood because I think people aren't doing plays per minute. I think they're just doing looking at plays. Oh, who ran the most plays? They didn't have the football. Neither team did this past weekend.
Oh, let me give you one more.
All right, one more. Sorry, I interrupted you on conference.
No, that was because I only got one left. Conference USA, Sammy, Houston State. 50.
Yeah, what's that one at?
There was some 20, some 20, some 18, some 15, 12.
Because playable at 12.
Because here's the thing: Western Kentucky, trash. Jacksonville State looked like trash.
They're going to play for it. They're going to play for the title.
That's right. That's what I'm saying. The rest of the conference looked like absolute.
Liberty didn't look good either.
No, they did not. I think they'll be okay, but
I know they'll be okay. I mean, I'm just saying.
I think they're the set. Again, 1 week they look like the second.
Now they got that new JUCO quarterback's pretty good.
Yeah,
yeah, I love them all, man. That's pretty sharp by you.
Should we parlay them all together?
I would not be stunned if you won. Well, you're going to win the Miami one. I wouldn't be a bit surprised. Like, I would not be totally stunned if you won one of the other ones. That's how good I think that is.
I love it.
Yeah, good job by you. I'm glad you brought that up. People love that stuff. I'm shameful. I didn't bet Sam Houston State in the summer. I only bet Liberty in that conference.
I didn't. Well, I was not that like. I wasn't
over their win total. I thought there could be a sneaky team this year, but I didn't bet them to win the conference.
That one I'd say is more like a Conference USA thing. Like
that's true.
Like everybody in the conference looks like absolute.
Mexico State looks terrible. Louisiana Tech almost lost.
Yeah,
although the turnovers were their issue in that game. Yeah, good point. That's why he's the man, the myth, the legend. John in the chat, we got a few more. We got a lot. So, I mean, we go as long as Knish wants to go here. John Hudson in the chat, Tulsa plus 7.5 at the Champions of Life. A lot of money on Arkansas State. That was a box score. It was not friendly for Arkansas State. Probably should have lost to Central Arkansas. They had a questionable call at the end go their way. I was thankful for the win total, but if you bet Central Arkansas money line, I feel for you there.
What's
boy, 6.5? No. Where's he seeing 7.5? I know it got steamed up today.
I'm seeing mostly 7s. There's like a smattering of 7.5 out there.
Where you at on that one? I laid 4. Nobody cares.
Okay. Though. Yeah. No, I mean, I
made it like 7, and then I don't know. I think my adjustment after I really deep dive, watch some games and stuff. I'm guessing my final number on the game would be like 6. So
yeah, at over
I take 7.5. Yeah, probably,
but not a 6.5.
Yeah. Charles again in the chat. Great to look at a new board. Yep, just mentioned that. What do you guys think about? Did I already read this question? I think I did. What am I doing? I think I went way to the top of the board. I'm weird. I must have scrolled to the top. Derek, I'm just looking. I'm going way down. John, Michigan State plus 8.5. Maryland thoughts. I'm not interested in that.
No, I mean, that was rough for FAU. They also had a couple of my Sparty guys sent to me. They had a couple of injuries too, for a couple starters. Hold on here. Let me get to the actual. Alante Brown, Dylan Tatum, both going to be out for this one. And Khalil Majid, who guys were all on the 2 deep there that are all out, and not a team with a lot of depth, and not an offensive performance that inspires a lot of confidence. So, and I know it was our Huskies, but Maryland just absolutely dropped a bomb on you. Like we were both down on Maryland this year. Give them credit. I mean, I know it's UConn, but dropped a 60 spot. To be honest with you, I wouldn't be surprised if that one hits 10.
Yeah. Oh, it's touched 10, and there's been some buyback back and forth. You're right, though. I think 10's my number. Trevor in the chat was impressed with Raiola. Think he could shred this Colorado secondary. Yep, like the over. I bet that one on open.
Yeah, you got it. I mean, man, and that was our whole like freshman QB. He had a lot of volume, put up a lot of yards, looked the part, physically looks the part. I mean, the guy looks like he's like 25, you know what I'm saying? So
Looks
I'll
like
give him credit. Maybe a little bit of a diva, but he looked real deal. And if he's real deal, then Nebraska's real deal.
What do you think of this side? All right, I'm just gonna get this out there because I'm so anti-Colorado. I would lean Colorado getting the hook.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I would.
I thought, okay, I thought you done a little double cross there. I thought you were saying that even
no. I just to prove that it's all numbers. It's all numbers for me. There might be a little too negativity on Colorado after the North Dakota State game. I don't know. I am not betting it yet because I do want Colorado to lose this game. I need it for the win total. But let's see where that line goes. I would lean with the hook. I'd lean Colorado. I think Nebraska struggled in space, although Nebraska's defensive line, in theory, should whip Colorado's offensive line. Charles, we already just talked that agree on the Maryland -7.5. All right. Let's scroll down. I'm sorry. I'm scrolling down. I'm all over the board here. RW fan 23 Baylor. I like Baylor. I don't know if I like him at the current number. I gave him out on the tout service. I think it's moved 3 points. So 14, no. Anything above 14, yes. What's your thoughts on that game? They're playing.
Yeah, I was with you. I thought I saw that come across for you, and I'd agree. At anything, Baylor looked and again, it was a Tarleton team whose the quarterback was out, but it looked much improved offensively. And I don't know. I don't love. And again, it's Utah at home. People, the home street, all that home field advantage and that. I don't love Utah having to win by margin versus a real deal. And I think you can call Baylor a real opponent now. So I don't know. I like that one at over 14 as well.
Patrick in the chat. Happy Monday, guys. Were you able to catch Northwestern at plus money right when it came out? Did you help move it? Boise, Oregon over, a good bet for this week. I lean Boise, Oregon over. Northwestern, I did not catch it. That's one of the ones I was mentioning. It must have been up at 3 a.m. in the morning. I did bet the under. That was at another book. That was way too high. So it was like, 45? I'm pretty comfortable there. Did you do anything? It's a Friday game, Northwestern. A good data point, Northwestern hosting Duke. Offense didn't look that good. They're running tempo.
I have had two people. I've filled some +3 for multiple sources. So on some Duke at 3 here, but it would only be again, guys. This
market hates Northwestern, just does.
Not the most inspiring offensive performance from either team week 1. But
what was inspiring was that view. Oh. I'd scrap the other stadium and figure out how to build my permanent stadium on the lake.
Just put in some more stands in that. Like, what do you even need to spend the money for?
Yeah, I know. Just to make that the permanent spot. It doesn't have to be big. 30,000. That's it.
Yep.
That's beautiful. That's really, you don't even have to you're all worried about money. That's your recruiting budget. Just have the game on TV. Just have everybody watching it. You don't even have to do it. Come on. That Lake Michigan's beautiful. What a view. I'm glad that they did that. That was smart. Looking at chat. All right, some player props. And we're not going to get to everything, guys. That's why I'm skipping and looking at a bunch of different stuff. You guys are very active. We appreciate it. Taking over 206.5 passing yards when the quarterback throws for 59 and the team finishes with 192 total yards is an early contender for worst bet of the year, Knish.
Well,
of course, people would focus on the negative. Went 5-1, and they're going to focus on that one.
Dilly, that's going to be on the wall of shame. We'll put it like that. So at least that won't be up there on the prop range. Hopefully, you played the sides in the round robin to make up for it. But yeah, the prop, it was an ugly one for sure.
Charles in the chat, App State against Dabo. What are we thinking there? That's 17.5.
So I took a little. I think it was 18.5. I'm still listen. Chuck, you're not going to get a positive take out of Clemson for me. Now, I will say, App State, some injuries to real people in on week 1, and so they took a little bet against ETSU. But you're going to have to prove it to me if you're Clemson that you can cover margin versus a team with any type of points because there will
be no fear from App State in this game.
No. So I like it at over 17.5 or at over 17.
As a best bet? No.
Are you there?
I'll look at the board quick. We'll give out one or two in like 5 minutes or so. We'll give out one or two. Speaking of one, I held this in the chamber, Zach, for a reason, because there's already tout wars. Well, he's not a tout, but competing today, and I'm part of it this week. I set out the Eastern Michigan Massachusetts game, but Tunes is on SMU. He laid 10. I don't like SMU. I like BYU in the game. Mickey mentioned SMU minus 10. I like BYU in the game. I mean, who has SMU beat the last couple of years? I mean, just go through it. They haven't beaten Memphis on the road. They didn't cover. I guess Tulane, but Tulane was overrated at the end of last season. I know BYU stats from last year aren't good, but I liked how they competed. I watched film from last year because I don't have a life, but they could have quit last year. They look at their Oklahoma State, Oklahoma games. They could have won either game to get to a bowl game. They played Southern Illinois is like a playoff team at the FCS level. You got to understand, like, okay, it wasn't like plus 5 yards per play margin, but they were playing somebody like with a pulse at the FCS level, and they easily covered. And I bet against BYU last week. I bet on SMU last week, laying like 45 against Houston Christian. I played against BYU last week, and my numbers say this line should be like 9.5. So there you go. Where are you at on this one? You're with Mr. Muscles?
I will say I was able to sneak in a little minus 9.5 after the VP. So the small position, but it would have to be under 10 for me on SMU. So that would be.
We'll come back to it. It's the Friday show leading into it. I like BYU a lot in the game. In fact, I like them live, to be honest with you. That's how much I like them. Yeah. SMU's offensive line concerns me. They just do. I watched them get whipped against Nevada. I just think them big boys on BYU, they're not a great BYU defense, but I like their defensive coordinator. So I like BYU. We'll come back to that one on Friday. We got to get another best bet out here. What the hell do I like? We gave out Central Michigan.
Yeah. I'm glad I like that one. The more it was one that I hadn't looked back at the number in a minute, and I'm
gonna run some by you. All right, I got my sheet here. Kansas State. We haven't talked this one. What do you think of the Kansas State Tulane game?
I was on.
Should be at the top of the board, Zach. As far as rotation, what's your thoughts here? There's been back and forth in the market on this game.
I can lean that way under 10 as far as Kansas State was concerned.
Yeah, they were more dominant than the final.
Yep.
Keep in mind they lost to Tulane a couple years ago. They'll be focused. I like Kansas State. Do we give it out at 9.5?
If it's under 10, yep. 9.5.
All right, 9.5. I bet it at 9.5. I laid 8. I laid 9.5. Let's go. Best bet. Yep. Kansas State minus 9.5. Boom. That's what I'm talking about.
I got two.
You got one?
I got two ugly dogs. I need to run by you.
Oh yeah.
You know where we're going. You know where we're going. I actually do. One is our Falcons at 3 at 5 touchdowns versus Penn State, and I know people are going to say Penn State looked phenomenal. I understand that they did, and I'm a buyer. So don't get me wrong. I like Penn State.
Yeah.
And I know James Franklin knows the spread. It's knows the spread.
Oh, we can't give that.
We can't do it at 34.5.
No, we can't.
So listen,
we'll come back on Friday because there's a lot of love for Penn State.
Yeah, there might be. Yep.
So we'll come back to that one. We like
the other one, which I don't. And I this is hard to do against two diehard Fighting Irish fans that I do the show with now with you and Zach. Any interest in Northern Illy?
There's always an interest in betting against Notre Dame. I was waiting. But now we're not waiting.
At 30.5, I think
is that what we got? I was waiting for 31 though, man. You don't have patience. I don't know if we're gonna get to it.
I don't know if we're gonna get it either because it's 29. It's one of the better prices that's out there at the moment.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean it's a clear flat spot. They put everything into that game. I don't think they'll run even Riley Leonard at all. He's a little bit. I'm not saying he's not going to play, but he's not going to run like he did in the fourth quarter. Best bet. Sorry, I delayed that for obvious reasons. I wanted to get down. I had to make sure I had not bet that yet. I wanted to make sure I got down. Best bet. Anything over, I would say 28.
WWE. I'm with you on that because I like that one. One, Northern Illinois looked. I'm placing some more.
No, Western Illinois is really bad.
They are really bad, really, really bad. I don't like haven't won a game in years. Bad, but
they did look good.
They did look good. Yeah. So I'll give them some that. And as this is a Notre Dame team that great defense. I think can be physical. Showed some juice with the running back position. Yeah. Not a team that I think is going to be like, as you said. I think they got to conserve Riley Leonard. I don't think the passing game is going to be super explosive. Just not kind of that's not a Riley Leonard staple. So to cover, 33, 34, 35.
Might not be enough possessions.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Especially if you're a little flat coming off the game.
Yeah. Super physical game. So I
endorse that.
Yeah.
That's a great bet.
I like that.
Great bet. So much that I delayed and made sure I bet it before you people bet it. That's a good one there. What else? We got anything else? That's 3. I'm just looking. What'd you think? Money on Sam Houston. I'm opposite of that.
Oh, really? Well, that was your that was the show, the Right Angle Boys.
Yeah, I just think, I get it. Sam Houston State was unbelievable, but I think you're sometimes fat and happy. You got that big outright upset win. How much you gonna put into this game?
It's
Central Florida hammers teams, man.
That's exactly where I was going. Is like it's a you really, if you're not on it, they love.
I looked it up. This just isn't talk. Under Malzahn, laying 3 touchdowns or more, they're 7-1. Not straight up, ATS.
Yeah.
So they hammer teams.
They do hammer.
We'll come back maybe to that one.
I can't believe we didn't. Cyhawk. This is. We
got to talk this before we go off.
You're on.
Are you responsible for this? There was market manipulation on this game today. Was there not?
Well, it was moving around for sure. But I know some people. This is one where I know some people on multiple sides of like this is it's not a tout wars game yet, but it's a people who know what they're talking about wars game yet. Where I know some multiple people on 2.5, and I know multiple people on 3, and there was even a little 3.5 for a bit. So you're riding with the Hawk guys, yeah.
I'm not wild about it. It's just I think it's a low variance game with a low total. You lay 2.5, you take 3.5. So you want to go head to head at 2.5? I'm fine with that. But I don't want to go against the show. Don't we have 3.5 on the show or 3?
I think we got 3 from the game of the year.
All right, I'm rooting for the show. We need to win. I'm going to keep this streak going.
This is one I bet some more. There was some 3. Actually, I think
there was 3.5 today. Was it higher?
Yeah.
But full disclosure, I laid 2.5. I know some other bad numbers.
So,
but I'm rooting for the show.
A couple interesting Iowa. You're like, oh my god, I was trolling people after the first half, that and second half.
You were online, so I have you to blame for the loss.
No, in some might have been gotten a little feisty in the group chats with the improved Iowa offense, and then Iowa State scored in literally 30 seconds on the first possession, a couple of big bombs, and then it kind of got stale for a while.
Couldn't get Didn't North Dakota have a 20-play drive?
Yeah, they could not get off the field on third and long. Got it. Third and long. Got it.
Couple more in the chat. I'm sorry we didn't get to everybody, and I was all over the board, scatterbrain. Brendan in the chat, Pitt, Cincy, thoughts? I'm bringing this up because I'm intrigued. Cade Bell and Holstein looked very good, even though it's Kent State. They did. They ran some tempo. Offense looked good. That was one I had regrets not betting more on. Did you do it? I bet the over in the game. I wouldn't touch now side or total though. Would you?
No. It really, it's moved pretty good on that one, but I agree. I agree with the over position, the over move, but no real strong opinion on the sider. It did look like finally that like Narduzzi just said go ahead and install that Western Carolina offense.
He did, and it looked good. And keep in mind, he's had good offensive coordinators in the past. That Pitt offense has been, they've been a good over team. So I did bet the over since he didn't look that great in their game. We wrapping up the show. That Matt in the chat, Wazoo Texas Tech over 66. It's, not the best price, but that's the only way you could bet that game.
I got Wazoo. Like they got the market, and they just dropped a bomb on Portland State and got faded strongly in that game. But like looked like the good old Wazoo we know and love from years past. It didn't look like
they had a 50 spot, 49 at halftime in a game that I bet against them. It was unbelievable.
What here? Okay.
Oh,
let's say they were in the Mountain West this year. Would they be favored to win the conference right now?
So this is in the weeds for right now. What's their playoff market look like to make the playoffs? Because they have Washington. They could beat them. They have Texas Tech this week. And they play a Mountain West schedule. I mean, if they're 11-1, 12-0, are they in the playoffs?
Friends, it looks like 40-1 at FanDuel. But like, so how does that, because they wouldn't be the G5.
Yeah, they wouldn't be the G5, but I mean, if you're 11-1, 12-0, I mean, you're going to be in. I don't know. Are we doing it? I'm not yet. I got to see him this week.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, you know what's going to happen? People are going to watch the show. They'll bet the hell out of it.
Right.
So you got to make a decision.
Yeah, do we want 20-1?
I don't have strong enough conviction yet.
It's one of those like.
I'm just saying it's sneaky. Is it not?
It is. I mean.
Yeah.
Now, granted, it's Texas Tech, then at Washington, and then they got. Oh my God! Then they got Boise and road games.
We're just trying to get in front of it. Yeah. Let me see what they do against Texas Tech. I mean, they got to be obviously. Tech almost lost to.
I mean, the schedule's insane. Like Texas Tech at Washington, at Boise, at Fresno. Like those are for the next 5 weeks. So
yeah, no.
Now, granted, if they run the table, they're probably
none of them are surefire losses. But I mean, for them to run it,
right?
We'll see. They did look good though. I mean, they. All right, I think we got. I mean, this was we hit 600 viewers. That's a record.
Oh baby, we did
hit that. So that's an announcement. I thought we added to the conference portfolio. So we like that. If you're watching that live, you could have gotten that. We added some best bets. Zach, if you want to pull them up, we're at least 3 games this week. I think this is a solid show.
Yeah. Yeah, baby.
There we go. Kansas State -9.5. I like that. We're playing the number there. Iowa State +3. That's from earlier this summer, betting the game of the year is Northern Illinois. Like that, playing Notre Dame off the big win. Central Michigan, we got in front of that. So, yeah, I think we're good. We got 4 in for the week.
Yeah.
Plus a couple conference. We'll have 3-4 on Friday. I'm feeling pretty good.
I like it.
All right. Got anything else?
No, let's I think that's good for you. We'll wrap her up and we'll see everybody on Friday.
Absolutely. So, for the man, the myth, the legend himself, Joey Knish, for producer extraordinaire Zach Phillips, for all the questions and comments that we got to, all the ones we didn't, I apologize, but we'll get to you on Friday, and we also have a Saturday show as well. You just watched Hit the Books, part of the Hammer Betting Network, sponsored by FanDuel.